So as you guys know, the Eastern Conference Finals go on today, and you already know I had to do a prediction on this. Come on. Two very exciting teams, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. But of course, before I get right into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, of course, I'm going to start off with the Boston Celtics. Now, a little bit of fun facts going into the past. They actually played the Miami Heat in 2020 back in the bubble playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals. They also beat the defending champions, Milwaukee Bucks, this year in 7 games during the second round. Now, getting into some of the individual players, Jayson Tatum is absolutely going berserk in these playoffs. The guy's averaging 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 44% from the field. Jayson Tatum is just proving to me why he's one of the top players in the league, and we should really give him that branding as we speak right now. He's been absolutely crazy. He's been pretty efficient, not amazingly efficient, but he's still been pretty efficient, and he's beat the defending champs and the Brooklyn Nets already during the playoffs. Now, of course, two guys who I think can be very, very pivotal for this series, Jaylen Brown and Al Horford, I think are the two main players, some key players you need to watch out for the Boston Celtics. They've had big games and big moments. I think those guys are two very pivotal players for this team. Now, going into some of the stats, the Celtics are second in point differential and third in defense as a team when looking at these playoffs, and they're looking to go to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010, in which they played Kobe Bryant and unfortunately lost during that series. Gonna be it for the Celtics. Moving on to their opponent, the Miami Heat. Now, they made the NBA Finals in 2020 after, ironically, beating the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals that year. In case you don't remember, we were on our couches watching as the pandemic was at its high going on, looking at the NBA bubble. And boy, was it a very, very fun experience. Now, of course, when looking at the Miami Heat, they beat an injured yet very, very competitive 76ers team. They locked up James Harden. They took care of an injured yet still mildly effective, a little bit effective when concerning Joel Embiid. So they took care of those guys pretty easily, let's just be honest. Of course, Jimmy Butler, talking about him, my boy's getting his buckets. The dude is averaging 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists during the playoffs. He has been absolutely immaculate. The guy's been a monster. And is this really surprising? Jimmy Butler always shows up in the playoffs. It should not be a surprise right here. I'm not too surprised. Jimmy Butler's always shown up in the playoffs. In the regular season, he kind of, does his thing, wins his 50 games, and gets that first seed. But during the playoffs is when he really turns it on. And we're seeing that happen again as Jimmy Butler goes into his mid-30s. Now, of course, two players I exclusively want to mention. However, I'm going to get into all of these guys. Bam Adebayo, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero are all guys that I think are going to have a huge impact on the series, especially when concerning Tyler Hero. I think all these guys bring a lot of energy to this team. This whole Miami Heat core has been really good this year, and I'm just a huge believer in the Miami Heat and their depth. I think all these guys bring a lot of energy on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, especially Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Those two guys are absolutely ridiculous. Tyler Hero in the regular season was dropping 20 points a game off the bench. 1 man of the year, provides so much energy to this team. Miami Heat, they definitely have the depth necessary to go to the NBA Finals and win it. I'm really excited to see this series. Now, of course, getting into some of the statistics, of course, the Miami Heat are first in defense and point differential during the playoffs, and they're trying to go to the Finals for the second time in 3 total seasons, and for the first time since 2020, which was the bubble in which they got beat by the Los Angeles Lakers and my boy LeBron James. Now, of course, enough with the teams. I'm going to get into the actual predictions. Now, I'm going to go into a couple of things before I just give it to you right off the top of my head. I do think the Miami Heat are amazing on defense, and I know they're going to be very focused on my boy Jayson Tatum. Now, of course, Jayson Tatum, he's going to have a lot of adjustments, but ultimately, I think a couple of X factors during this series. I think Jayson Tatum for the Boston Celtics is going to be absolutely huge, and I do think low-key, very low-key, I think Jaylen Brown is going to be immaculate. He's going to be really important this series. I think Jaylen Brown has to have a very big series. He doesn't have to be averaging 35 points a game. He doesn't have to be putting up superstar numbers, but I do think he's going to have to be very efficient. I do think he's going to have to be very consistent in order for the Boston Celtics to have a chance at winning this series. Now, of course, going to the Miami Heat side of things, they're solid everywhere, but I think Tyler Hero is going to look forward to a huge series, and I also think Bam Adebayo could possibly be a huge impact when concerning this series, whether the Heat win or lose. Tyler Hero provides so much energy off the bench, man, and his energy, the way he plays, his effort, what he does on the court for this Miami Heat team is just so important. I think he's going to be the ultimate X factor for this series for the Miami Heat, just like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will be the ultimate X factors for the Boston Celtics, along with the cores of each team. Now, getting to my final verdict, I have the Miami Heat winning in 6 games. I think Jimmy Butler is going to be his usual dominant sub. Jason Tatum, I believe, while he still will put up his numbers, I do think he's going to really struggle against that Miami Heat defense. It's just so hard to really wrap your head around. I mean, the only guy who's really successfully defeated the Miami Heat defense is LeBron James, and LeBron James is one of the smartest players in the league and one of the greatest players of all time. I just don't think the Boston Celtics can do it. I don't see a world in which they win this series. I do think they will be competitive, but ultimately I think the Miami Heat take care of them in 6 games, go to the NBA Finals, and hopefully my boy Jimmy Butler can win him a ring before he calls it a career. But, of course, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell. You guys talking about a little bit. And, of course, the big bars coming up. I wish you nothing but the best. Stay loved. Stay blessed. If you want to watch this video, go ahead. Watch the rest. But without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.